What's going on YouTube? It's RJ the Fed. We're going to be talking about the Bourbon Secondary Market. So Bourbon Secondary Market, if you guys didn't know, people resell bottles. Is it allowed? No. People do it? Absolutely. Anytime there's a way to make money, someone's going to do it. Getting into it, distilleries have raised prices pretty much across the board. I think some of it comes down to the times. I think some of it comes down to they're very well aware of what some of their bottles go for on this secondary market. They've also seen some of these mom and pop stores that sell these bottles for a tremendous amount of money. And I think they decided they wanted to cut in on that money and pay themselves. So they raised the prices. Also with the times too, everything just costs more. Materials cost more, barrels, storage, aging process, grains, everything, distribution, warehouses for their bottles, getting them into the storefronts. There's markups on markups on markups all the way through. I think the distillery wants more of that capital for themselves. First and foremost, I think that some distilleries purposefully do not release enough bottles to meet the demand. Therefore, they can charge more because they've made it limited. They've shrunk the quality or the quantity and the quality on some things to make it almost impossible to actually get a bottle. I mean, some of these releases, there's like less than 3,000 bottles, but it's supposed to be one of the biggest distilleries in the U.S., and some states don't even see them because distribution just isn't there. Some things you have to buy in the secondary market. I think because of that, too, it helps drive up the secondary prices because if someone has to buy it, there's money to be made. If there's money to be made, someone's going to do it, whether it's you or the next guy or the distillery. So bottles that have been sitting on the shelf lately, E.H. Taylor Small Batch has hit Texas full front, full storm. Everything is just E.H. Taylor Small Batch. I walk into any specs at almost any time. They have cases of it, and there's no limit. So for a cash price bottle, it's $60.07 for an E.H. Taylor Small Batch, and you can buy it case by case by case. People are still buying them. People are sitting on them. Checking out some of the secondary stuff that's been coming out, like Eagle Rare 12. I mean, when that was distillery drop, it was what, $350? Prices have kind of changed drastically from there. It's probably around $175 to $225 on secondary. Eagle Rare 12 still hasn't really been distributed properly yet. We had one drop from Specs. I've seen a couple mom and pops with it. Total Wine's holding it, I'm assuming, for a Grand Reserve drop, so we haven't seen that happen yet, at least for Texas. As far as Wellers, pretty much non-existent. I mean, Special Reserve sits on the shelves here. It's like $30 for a 750. They have the 375s and the 1.75 liters and the 1 liters. They have every size for Weller Special Reserve, but almost no 107, no 12. We did have a foolproof drop, but I've only seen it happen one time. Haven't seen it since. Other prices I've seen, High West Prisoner Share, the newest release, is $199 before taxes. That's pretty pricey, pretty up there. A lot of Rare Character finally making its way to Texas too. Prices kind of getting crazy on some of those, but I see more of these bottles sitting on secondary. People buy. Baumburgers and Shanks 2025 is a good example, which Baumburgers 2025 we opened. It's a pretty good pour, but there's like no secondary value. It's like $116 out the door from Specs. I think Total Wine's a little bit cheaper, surprisingly. But even then, like, those bottles aren't sitting on the shelf, they're being bought, but the people who are buying them that aren't drinking them, they're trying to resell them. No value. Most newest release, Wild Turkey Master Keep, the Beacon. That bottle is going for like $500-$600 on secondary. It's come out. Jack Daniel's, the American Heritage bottle. Some people think it's going to be a standard shelfer. I have my doubts. Price on that, about $150 to $125 on secondary currently. I was able to snag one. It should be here on Friday for $90 shipped to my door from a online retailer. Is it going to be a standard shelfer? I really have my doubts. Every one of these Jack Daniels that's had that heritage release on it has always been limited, and availability on them has been hit or miss. Sometimes you can get a lot of them, sometimes you can't. Some states see them, some states don't. You got to have the know on when the trucks are coming, what the distributor has on it, and if it's got Jack Daniels, being there at the right place, right time to get a bottle. People are still going to keep buying them. People are still going to be flipping them because there's money to be made. If there's any kind of margin, you can expect someone's going to buy it, someone's going to resell it. Someone who wants to buy it to drink it may not get the opportunity unless they act fast or they're willing to pay up for it, or they get lucky on an online retailer before a bot snipes it. Other bottles that are coming out, I know Russell's 15. Some people have already seen that. Russell's 13, batch 6. People have gone crazy over that one too. Prices almost immediately when something comes out, E.H. Taylor Distillers Council, the price is normally pretty outrageous, at least on secondary. Once distribution starts to happen, we normally see prices come down. Some things, they don't come down right away, and then other things, they almost, I mean, the floor is the bottom, and they drop out immediately. Double Eagle, very rare. I know some guys were getting calls for those. They are much higher this year than they were the year before, so kind of crazy to see the prices on some of these bottles and what people are willing to pay for them, what people have to pay for them, and whether you want to buy it to try it or if you're buying a sample of it. So Bourbon Secondary Market, it's a double-edged sword. I mean, if you want to get a bottle that you can't normally get in your state, people will jump to secondary to get one. If you don't care about the bottle and you don't want to hunt for it, then obviously you can skip on it. And then you got to know the audience. Some of these bottles, like the E.H. Taylor Distiller Council, I also put like the Pappies up on the thumbnail. Some of those bottles are not for everybody. Those are like the super crazy collectors. Obviously, I think every bottle should be open and drank, not necessarily for a collector, but there's a certain type of market. There's a certain status quo. The price per bottle is like the MSRP is already absurd. Secondary on them can get even crazier. Some of that's outside of people's price range, and for good reason, honestly. If I could go back and do this all over again, I would never spend more than $100 on any bottle ever and just be happy with what I have in front of me and what I've tried versus what I haven't tried. So secondary markets kind of ruin that for some people. Some people have also got the mentality of time is money. Why should I go wait in line for 5 hours or go camp out overnight other than fellowship and some sample drinking? Why should I go do all that just for a bottle if I can just pay, $30 or $40 an hour worth of time? So we'll say if they waited 5 hours, $150 to $200 more than what the bottle costs to have it in hands on secondary. Well, that's definitely possible for a lot of people, but it's made some of us lazy, and it helps fuel these guys who go and camp out because they do have the time. That some of them have made it a second job, or their only source of income is just flipping whiskey, which is crazy to me. But we got new bottles coming out. Old Fitz VVS is coming. Some of you guys will probably try to get that at Kentucky Bourbon Fest. Four Roses LE, Old Forester Birthday Bourbon, President's Choice. There's going to be a numerous amount of bottles that come out, and you'll see from Kentucky Bourbon Fest, all of them that hit secondary. Some of them will be straight from the festival. Some of them will be straight from the distilleries. People will be camping out for like Heaven Hill as well, not just for the VVS. I'm assuming they'd be hoping for some other stuff too, maybe a 19. So it'll be very interesting to see where the market goes from here. But I think prices on bottles on secondary, it's coming down. I think the prices are coming down. I do think the distilleries are raising their prices to help combat secondary. I think the whole market as a whole has slowed down. I think people are out of money, or they went really hard, really strong on buying bottles. Their collections are pretty filled, and now they're being very selective on what they buy. And because of that, a lot of stores are stuck with product that they don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to move it. They don't know how to get rid of it. And some of the stores will start discounting some of that. Some of them will just basically sit there. Some of them will go out of business. I know one of my mom and pops, they're tore up because of construction. People aren't spending the money like they used to. They're actually cutting their store in half, and they're like subleasing the other half to help reduce the overhead for the lights and the electric bill and the rent because of the space, just to stay afloat. That's not good for the mom and pops, but the big companies, I mean, they're still making do. They still have good sales. I mean, whiskey on its own isn't going to pay the bills, especially not allocated bottles. Beer, wine, other hard liquor is going to help get them there, like tequila, rum, gin, vodkas. So if you do want to support a store at all, mom and pop might be a little bit more expensive, but going in and buying a couple bottles that aren't allocated, it helps them keep the lights on, and maybe they'll reward you with the chance to buy something allocated that you do want without having to go to the secondary market. So That's my little speech. That's my little rant on the bourbon secondary market, where I think it's at. I think the distilleries definitely recognize the secondary market. I think they recognize that if they raise their prices, it'll help combat some of the flipping and help reduce those margins, maybe to help entice people not to flip, but rather just go out and buy it from a store and or the distillery or online retailer as they can without giving the flippers extra money. So it'll help slow that down potentially. Obviously, some releases still fetch a very high price tag and are very limited, so there'll still always be a secondary market. It just might not be as prevalent or relevant in your area. What to buy, what not to buy? I mean, honestly, don't buy anything that's like over $250 on MSRP. Like, if it's over $250 on MSRP, try to have a sample of it. Try before you buy mentality. Go to a bar or ask a friend that might have a bottle if you can get a sample of it first before you buy it. Some people are buying these bottles and they're like, they open them, they try them, they don't like them, then they gotta sample them out or offer them to friends because they can't enjoy what they got. Other people buy them and then they hear reviews. I don't like listening to other people's reviews all the time. Let me disclaimer that. Some people will do a review and it's honest or it's perceived to be honest from that individual, and then other people will listen to that review and then make it their own without actually ever trying the product. So just because somebody says something's good or somebody says something is bad doesn't always mean that that's true. Obviously, people have different palates, so of course that's not true on that aspect. But I'm saying, as far as someone might say they like it or they don't, but they've actually never tried it, so their opinion, in my and that side of things, I think is invalid if they've never even tried it, because I mean they're not even a part of the sample size. Buffalo Trace, I mean, I think some people figured it out. Some of those bottles are readily available, some of them aren't. They started putting out some hyper-allocated stuff again, like that E.H. Taylor Distillers Council. That market is not for everybody. I mean, not everyone should be going to try to buy one of those. Double Eagle, very rare. That is not for everyone. I think it's cool if you get offered one or you see one in a store. That is like super premium bottle, once in a lifetime thing. If you want to splurge like that, by all means. As far as secondary, some of these guys, especially some of the locals, they've bought them and they're stuck with them. No one wants them. No one wants to buy the bottle. They're going to have to take a loss in order to get rid of that bottle, or they're going to have to try to sample it out, which most people won't even open a bottle to sample it out unless they get like a promise of like, I need 10 or 12 1 ounce or 2 ounce samples basically pre-claimed before I even open this bottle to do a bottle split, because they know if they open it and they don't get enough sold, they are upside down like crazy. So that kind of deters some people from buying some of those bottles too. And then once again, highlighting that E.H. Taylor sitting on the shelf, at least in Texas, small batch is everywhere. Pretty much anybody can walk in the store and buy one bottle to a case or multiple cases at almost any liquor store, but especially at Specs. Pretty sure they had an international contract that fell through with tariffs. They got stuck with a bunch of E.H. Taylor. They didn't know what to do with it. Specs took it on, and now for most Specs, at least in the Metroplex area of DFW, they've said that it's no longer allocated and just sell it, get rid of it, as many as people want to buy or as few as people want to buy. Let them have it, don't hide it, just get it all out there. Sell. Market's oversaturated on secondary. I'm pretty sure when I see a chiller small batch, it's only moving by the case or even 2 cases at a time. Anything like single or double bottles almost never moves unless it's for trades, which is kind of crazy to me, because each chiller small batch for a while was, you picked it up whenever you saw it, and now it's like you don't do that anymore because you see it every day, and you'll be you'll be sitting on pallets of it. But I don't like sitting on more than like 4 bottles of anything anyways, unless it's something I really enjoy. And even then, those backups, they get open and drank pretty quick, or they're used as gifts. I think each Chiller Small Batch and Eagle Rare 10-year are 2 great bottles that I like to give away. Each Chiller Small Batch is great because of the cigar guys. Put a cigar in the head of that tube by the neck of the bottle. Makes a great gift. They get a bottle of whiskey with their cigar for a good pairing. But other than that, guys, that was my quick rant on the bourbon secondary market, where I think it's at. Is it crashing? I think so. Distilleries are raising prices, and we will see you guys for the next one.